everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Thursday, November 5th, and we have just one meeting to tell you about this morning. It will be at 9:30 and is the third board annual organizational meeting. And you can always follow along at lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. Now, on our show today, we have Golden Coast Dermatology with Dr. James Tidwell. And then we also have Align Wealth Advisors, and always like talking to Nicholas. He's got some great information about retirement this time. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your resources for checking on COVID-19 and the governor's opening plans. That's covid19.ca.gov. We have ochealthinfo.com, and then of course there is a hotline, 714-834-2000, or you could check our website, which is lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com. Or you could email us any questions or concerns to info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. Our weather is going to be strangely warm today, pretty hot at 91, and then the rest of the week we are cooling down to chilly sweater weather over the weekend. So today we're looking at 91, 61, tomorrow 73, 56. Saturday, partly cloudy and cool, 61, 52, and then believe it or not, we are possibly going to have a shower on Sunday, 60, 47, and then Monday, 65, 51. Our sunrise this morning was at 6:14, and our sunset will be at 4:55. Now, this month, I have decided to focus on delicious Thanksgiving desserts. So please send me a picture of a dessert that you have made for Thanksgiving. This one happens to be apple pie bars, and you can find this recipe at delish.com, and it looks heavenly and tastes delicious. All right, if you would like to send me a photo of one of your desserts that you made for Thanksgiving, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we return, we will have Dr. James Tidwell, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Vince Ferragamo. I spent some of my best years as an NFL quarterback, but today I've got a new team, and we're helping seniors who spent their best years fighting for our country, defending our freedom, and informing the nation. Our hometown heroes need help. AgeWell Senior Services is their lifeline. Nonprofit AgeWell can do all of this because you care enough to give. Please join me in supporting AgeWell. Donate today.
Welcome back. Well, today I'm joined by Dr. Tidwell, who is here on behalf of Golden Coast Dermatology. Well, welcome back. It's nice to see you again.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And boy, a lot of good information. And we were talking offline before we came on, and I just wanted to be clear about some of these things because I know so many people have lots of questions, especially about chronic rashes or rashes that are unexplainable. So let's talk about some of those rashes and what do you do to help people identify them?
Sure. A lot of times we see rashes that make it to us as the dermatology where someone says, I've had this rash for years. I thought it was this. I thought it was fungus. I thought it was this. And I've tried 10 things and nothing clears it up. And when that happens, we start to work it out. We look at other things and other options. Allergy is a big problem in skin that people often under-identify, and that's either a dandruff or a jewelry or something. Your community is very active, and we find a lot of rubbers or with the golf clubs or something like that you're coming in contact with, and we can test it. If it's immediate and there's a really bad rash, we can do a little skin biopsy, which we send a few cells to the lab and they identify it. But what we do a lot of times for people who have chronic rashes, chronic itching, is something called allergic patch testing. That's where we take 80 of the most common things, that changes every year, that the North American Contact Dermatitis Society comes up with. And we put that on your back on a large sticker. And we put that sticker on Monday, take it off Wednesday, and get the results on Friday. And we're able to identify what you're allergic to, where that is. And that really helps a lot of our patients cure a rash or an itching that's gone on for years. So we are really, really happy to introduce that and do that here.
Well, and I saw that it was an allergy patch testing. How long has that been around as opposed to the needling that used to be?
So there is the needling, and that's often done by allergy immunologists. And needling tests what comes from the outside, from the inside out. So if you eat a food and something's in your stomach, if you breathe something, something's in your lung, causing problems, hives, swelling, angioedema, something like this can sometimes happen. What we test for are things that in your environment that are coming in contact with you from the outside in. So that's more rash. And the benefit to the patch testing too is no sticking, no pain. It's just a sticker that's on your back and we take it off and we get the results. So it's a kind of a different thing they're testing for, but one of the main advantages is it's not painful.
Right. So how would someone know if the rash is coming from inside or outside? Is there a difference in the way it looks?
Sure, often that is. Often if it's something that you eat or come in contact with, it's smooth. It's like a hive that kind of comes on your start to swell, or you breathe something and you get these hives pop up. Is an oversimplification, but often something I've eaten. I'm allergic to shellfish or whatever that is. If it is something that is you're coming in contact with, often, and again, I'm making it very simple, but often is a rash that's very scaly or very itchy, red, doesn't really go away. So those are kind of a general rule of things. There are always exceptions, but as a general rule, that's how a quick look over.
Okay, well that's good to know because I think people would, I mean, they'll come to you regardless of whether or not they know the difference, but nonetheless, at least that's a good guideline for sure.
Yeah.
So let's move on to being active, staying young, feeling young, and it goes along with it is actually looking young. And I think everybody would love to do that, but maybe they just don't really know all of the things that are available to them. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, there are a lot of different treatments out there. And then often people think if they're not 20 or in Hollywood or something, it's not for them. And that's not true. People do get afraid too because they've seen folks who've either had a large burn or an accident with a laser or too much filler to look artificial. And that's not what we do. We are aging gracefully. One of the things that we do the most popular is a chemical peel. And so people, in the 90s, 80s, 70s, things would see this. They'd almost get these chemical burns rather than a chemical peel and see their face was red, for scaly for months. And that's not really the modern approach to it. And some chemical peels are even paid for by Medicare. If you have sun damage, precancers, the actinic keratoses, that Medicare actually does cover chemical peels for medical indications. So there are a lot of options out there. You don't have to get a chemical burn. Chemical peels you're a little red for the rest of the day. Maybe like the next day it looks like you have a little sunburn and your skin will just come off not as a cocoon or a giant peel where you look weird or bruised, but more like coffee grinds in the shower. And then after a day or two, you feel your skin being fresh, rejuvenized. And again, we're not doing you look radically different or duck lips or these things like this. It's simply say, hey, you look like, a good night's sleep, or take the year back a little bit, or get rid of a brown spot. That's our goal.
So when you talk about the peels, now there's a variety of different things that you could use, and we had talked about this beforehand, a Jesner's peel, which really is sort of a liquid that you put on and then you keep it on. But then you also mentioned that there's some new stuff out there that's replacing some old things. Microneedling?
Sure, microneedling is really popular. There's the traditional microneedling that some people see and can do at home. You can get some on Amazon for a very simple device. Then you have more of a medical grade one that's in medical offices. And there's even this newest one, microneedling with RF. So that's radio frequency, and that adds a little heat or a little energy to cause even more tightening. I also really enjoy combining microneedling with a chemical peel to get even a deeper rejuvenation of the skin, to take away brown spots, to take away wrinkles. And again, it doesn't have the same downtime. So there was the old lasers like a CO2 laser where we would do those where I trained in San Diego, and people would have to be checked into a hotel next door for a few days because it was just very painful, lots of redness, lots of peeling, great results. But downtime is something people don't want to do anymore, particularly when there's alternatives out there that don't require much downtime rather than just simply a little red for the next day. So we're minimally invasive, highly effective techniques are really what's taking over.
So talk to me a little bit about somebody who may be on blood thinners or maybe have a thinning of the skin. Can you still do those types of procedures?
Absolutely. The whole world seems to be on a blood thinner now, and that's just part of as the drugs become more powerful, helping prevent strokes, heart attacks, and we live longer. So that's something we deal with on, I would say, 80% of the Medicare population is on a blood thinner, and should be when you talk to cardiologists, and that's a good thing. But that doesn't impact what we do at all, particularly dermatology offices. We're able to control that. We expect it. And thinning of the skin or atrophy comes with time and aging and sunshine. And a lot of these cosmetic treatments are actually there to help with that, to help strengthen the skin, rejuvenate it, get a different coat of fresh skin to grow over scaly, tired, aged skin. So we are in the business of getting skin rejuvenized and healthy again.
Even under the eyes?
Even under the eyes. So the eyes is almost like the holy grail of trying to get the dark circles under it. We all have it, especially after we don't get a good night's sleep.
Right.
And I've found that, doing a series of lightning peels has helped me. So you talked about Jesner's, which has resorcinol, which is actually what's in wine to have anti-aging, antioxidant properties. So that's one we can do under the eyes. I like salicylic acid peels too, because they're very lightening. So we can combine them. I'm an old chemical engineer before I went to medical school, so I have a special interest in kind of doing the chemistry back there, making our peels for people's specific skin. But yeah, under the eyes is something we do a lot of. Everyone wants that. But I really like a combination of Jesner's, which has the healing, anti-aging properties, with the lightning peel to clear away some of that pigmentation that we all hate.
Oh, well, that's excellent news. And then lastly, let's talk a little bit about a routine. So, skincare routines can be exhausting when you look online or you hear about the latest and greatest, some infomercial, and, there's a lot of hype. And I don't think anybody really wants to sit there and do 7 different methods or 7 different bottles. Maybe you can kind of condense it and give us just a couple of ideas of things that we should consider on a regular routine.
Sure, I feel the same way too. And I walk down the aisle at Target and blasted, even the lighting's different in the aisle. And, you feel almost self-conscious looking at these models there. So the best skincare routine is one that actually works, one that you stick with, one that you can do. If you go buy 10 things, if tea tree oil and all these things that sound cool or have some sort of salesman there, but you don't use it, that's not great. So the basics would be, especially here in California, is every morning wear a sunscreen. If you can remember to wear a hat before you go play golf or tennis or walk the dog, that's great. But a sunscreen in the morning and a moisturizer at night. Those are the basics that if you can just do those and stick to that, you will really help. And a really important part of a skincare routine is looking yourself over. If you see a spot that isn't healing, something that doesn't look right, something that's growing, changing, don't wait. Get that looked at, get that seen quickly. And that's really very key to do in those skincare routines. So if you use sunscreen in the morning, moisturizer at night, and when something looks wrong, give us a call. That is the basics that will help prevent 99% of problems for you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, and we'll share with everybody the contact information they can get in touch with you.
Sure. Thanks for having us today.
All right. We'll see you again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we'll be right back after this.
How are you making the most of your life, and do you apply that same devotion to planning your financial future? A train off its tracks goes nowhere. Having a financial plan that is consistent with your lifestyle will keep you on track through your retirement years.
Align Wealth Advisors specializes in creating a financial strategy that best fits your needs and your lifestyle, now and in the future.
Align Wealth Advisors. Life, wealth, balance.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined Align Wealth Advisors. Well, thank you for being with us. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Lisa. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. So,
Yeah.
I know we have a specific goal in mind to talk about retirement income planning, but let's talk about what you guys do overall.
Well, we are a comprehensive wealth management firm, and we do everything from, helping folks with their budget all the way to charitable giving and, making sure you're covered if there's a long-term care need, that your wills and trusts are in place and up to date. But today I thought we could just talk about what our clients need nowadays more than anything, and that's planning for income in retirement.
Right. Well, we're all kind of looking towards that moment when you hit a particular age, and some people want to retire earlier than others, and there are ramifications to that, especially if you haven't planned correctly. So, tell me about some of the changes that people need to be thinking about when they are thinking about retiring.
Well, the first thing to remember is that there are changes, and change is inevitable in life. And the stage that people go in when they're in retirement and needing income completely changes the way they've looked at their investments in the past. And quite often, folks aren't familiar with that process. They've had an investment portfolio, they've accumulated assets over time, perhaps they inherited the assets or they're a surviving spouse. And the financial focus shifts now from accumulating money to now taking income off the money or the assets. It might be real estate involved and so on. So it's a big shift to go to from accumulation to withdrawing money. So that's important to remember. And then of course all of the income that you develop from that time has to last not for a finite amount of time, but generally for an infinite amount of time, meaning the rest of your life until you leave this earth. So it's a big shift.
Well, yeah, and I know some people it would seem unfortunate that some people do make mistakes where then they find themselves only having enough money to last them maybe 10 years.
It's so true. And, there's about 4 major things that come up all the time nationwide about the greatest fears that we have as people. One of them, of course, is the fear of humiliation, the fear of embarrassment, which relates to public speaking. Another one is fear of having a loved one either pass away or get sick. Number 3 is running out of money before we leave this earth. So running out of money and living on your heirs or on your relatives or your children, or having to live on nothing basically, or just on Social Security is very difficult, very difficult.
Right. And there's a lot of people who actually are very worried about Social Security. I mean, there's been talk multiple times now where gosh, we're going to run out of Social Security. Well, that's horrific sounding, especially for people who have been putting in all this time.
Yes, it really is. And we've mentioned before, Lisa, when you and I spoke a few months back about the idea of Social Security disappearing. That won't happen, nor will it change for those who are already collecting it. But there may be a reduction if things aren't changed. And we have change in the mix right now going on to revise the entire Social Security system. But there's about 4 steps to help develop an income strategy. And again, it's mostly psychological, getting just used to the idea that, hey, I've got to go into this income mode now. But it's really important to make sure that we're prepared for the budget. We prepare ourselves psychologically and financially for the fact that we're going to be withdrawing money from our investments or our assets. So you have to prepare first for unexpected things, things that we don't anticipate, perhaps a large cost of something, emergency, a medical emergency, something like that. We have to prepare for that. That's done generally by insurance. And then know what our expected cash flow is in retirement. What are our expected expenses? How can we best predict those? That's done by going through a comprehensive financial plan, not necessarily a very arduous or difficult plan, but more than a back of the envelope, if you know what I mean. Something that's really well thought out and put together for someone. And then from there, from that expected expense report, we have to change the mix of the assets from growth and stock type investments to income producing assets, perhaps rental income from property, dividends, interest from bonds, etc. And in that mix, generally we have insurance. There's a way to insure your income as well through vehicles called annuities. And there are many, many ethical annuity companies out there, like the Teachers Insurance and Annuity Association, TIAA. And there's ways to provide lifetime income in this income preparation. And then last but not least, we have to make sure that we know that we're going to tap into something. What are the assets and when? There's tax implications, taking money out of IRAs, 401ks, and so on. So what assets we're going to tap into and when? So it requires planning.
Yeah. Let's talk about the person that may not have thought about this, or they're coming to the point in their lives, maybe in their 50s, where they're like, I've never had a financial planner. Is that something that I need to do? And if they're thinking about it at this point in their life, is it too late?
No, that's a great question, Lisa. I believe it's never too late. The reason why is financial planners really help people. It's hard to believe we have the old school model of these financial guys that are stock jockeys. Perhaps they weren't. They did something different. But financial planners like myself and my staff, we actually help people to enhance their clarity, their focus, their organization, make things simpler, and candidly help them with a better yield with less risk. So there's value there. Recently, we renovated our offices here. And when we came in, they just need to be completely redone from above the ceiling down below the floors. We had actual subfloors were replaced too. We hired professionals. We hired designers. We hired architects. We hired all these people to get a good flow of energy through the office, the right coloring and all that, even the door hinges and the doorknobs. And we did it with the help of other professionals for less money than we would have spent on our own. That's what a professional should do. They should provide you with a better result, right, for less cost, and in the end. So to your point, yes, definitely, it's worth having a financial planner if you've never had one, and even more so if you've never had one, because then we have to kind of pick up the pieces and get things organized.
Right. And you guys provide a consultation. So if somebody was to come to you, what are some of the things that they need to bring with them for you to be able to evaluate what is needed?
So to best serve someone that's interested in meeting us, we give folks a list. Generally, it's, hey, let's see what your goals are, what you want to do with your money, where your assets are located, what they consist of. Some people don't have that all written down or on a statement of sorts. So we just ask them to bring a pile of statements in. Believe it or not, back in Washington, D.C., I'll never forget this. Folks heard about me on the New York Times, and I was just busy doing my work, and all of a sudden my assistant called me up, hey, Nick, we have some folks out here, and they have a shopping bag. Really? Yeah, they heard about you in the New York Times, and they want to talk to you. They had a shopping bag filled with statements from an accumulation of a lifetime. They're still my clients now. Actually, the wife has predeceased the husband, but the husband now, thank God we consolidated, organized, got everything together for them, because now he has Alzheimer's and she's passed away and she handled all the finances.
Oh, wow.
What a scenario. So thank goodness they had the intuition or the foresight to come in and talk to us. Yeah. Same thing here. We just ask folks, hey, bring what you have.
Okay.
And on that note, we have a really, I think, useful webinar coming up. It's about a month away. It's actually Tuesday, November 10th at 6 p.m. It's a virtual webinar. Today, not very many folks are coming in the office here. And candidly, a lot of what we do is virtual anyway. I have a lot of clients in Washington, D.C. with the CIA, the FBI. And we would like to impart ideas about income planning, retirement income planning. In fact, it's called retirement income planning. Mm-hmm. And for those who haven't been on a webinar, it's so easy. If you called us and you registered for it, we'd send you a link, and then you just click on the link and you're in. So we ask you to call us at the office here at 949-715-8585, and we'll register you for this webinar. I think there's a limit. I don't know how many. It's probably 100, not that many people. But once you're in this webinar, then you'll be connected with us, and you'll kind of hear a little bit more about the substance of what income planning really looks like.
I love it. I think that's a great opportunity for sure, because we have so many questions. And upon that note, does the webinar allow a question and answer session?
Yes, at the end. Thanks for asking, Lisa. At the end, we offer two things. One, a virtual question and answer session based on the material that I provide in that webinar. And it's not a sales presentation, it's informational. And then an opportunity to set up an appointment with me directly, either virtually or in person here at the office. We're at that Civic Center, that really nice Mediterranean building right across from the old Macy's. Mm-hmm. We're in such a nice location here for folks around this area, in Orange County especially. And anyway, they can come in virtually by computer or come in person. I mean, to meet with myself and my staff to discuss income needs. A lot of this is personal and private.
Yes, and I'm sure you keep everything confidential and you
Yes.
have the utmost security, so that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. This is a very sensitive topic once again, and it's a big part of the fears that we face. Why not alleviate and just quell those fears by hiring a professional is the kind of the way I look at it.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. And again, that webinar is Tuesday, November 10th at 6 p.m. And they can go ahead and call to reserve their spot. So thank you for the information.
Thank you, Lisa. Hope all is well. Stay healthy.
All right. You too. We'll see you again.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.
All right. And we'll be right back after this. Back, just a couple of things to tell you guys about. The Theater Guild is having their Johnny Carson Show 2020 edition this weekend. It'll be on Saturday at 2 p.m. and it's going to be at Clubhouse 5 parking lot. And then the Flukes will be Sunday, November 15th, and I'll tell you about that next week. But in any case, if you wanted to participate this weekend, you do need to go to amenities, reservations, and then going to recreation, go to ActiveNet, and it's $5 per vehicle. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. It is going to be unusually hot today, but it will be cooling off for the rest of the week and into the weekend. Today we could hit 91, 61 overnight. Tomorrow 73, 56. Partly cloudy and cool, 61, 52. Sunday a chance of a shower, 60, 47. And then Monday still cool, 65, 51. You can always rewatch our program Monday through Saturday at 12:30 and 5 o'clock. Join us again here tomorrow at 9 a.m. for another This Day. Have a great day in the village, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
At our new Memorial Wave Imaging Center in Laguna Woods, formerly Orange County Diagnostics, you can expect the same precise imaging, multiple modalities for your imaging needs, and the same friendly staff with medical providers like Dr. Syed Shirokni. The Laguna Woods Transportation Service offers convenient access right to our door, and we continue to provide the care and compassion that you expect from our new Wave Laguna Woods location.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.